Hello, fabulous Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of January 2016, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. In the early part of the month, the energy is emotionally speaking, and when we look at the sky from a love perspective, quite intense. That is one way to put it. And it does look like, because this part of the sky represents real intimacy, like emotionally being vulnerable to another, feeling particularly close to another person, and sharing on more and more intimate levels. This sky does suggest that, keeping things light and easy breezy is going to be one of the more challenging things to do. And so if you are in an established bond, this energy is going to work particularly well for you, because it does suggest a real spirit of we're in this together. We are sharing our lives. A real spirit of, okay, this is what you bring to the table, this is what I bring, and this is how we're better together. And also a real sense and a real spirit of wanting this person to know more about you, wanting to know more about this other person. And so if you're in an established bond, this works really well. I think you're going to find your partner being especially vulnerable, sharing things, even if you've been with them for a really long time, sharing things that just surprise you, seeming to come out of nowhere. And I do think that, again, if you're in an established bond, you yourself might be a person who is wanting to share more deeply, is wanting to know, like have a certain inner certainty that is this person really the one or not. And there might even be a part of you that feels that you have to make a decision. You don't. Remember, Mercury is retrograde as well right about now. And so a lot of times, and especially with matters of heart, any decisions that are made tend not to stick when there's a Mercury retrograde. That tends to be a general rule. There are exceptions, but that tends to be kind of a general rule. So while you may be having second thoughts, while you may be wondering what else is possible, or how comfortable do you actually feel, how long-term is this really, even with all that, and even with all that consideration and thinking, just striving to be present and to have the willingness to share really can open up all kinds of doors within your heart and theirs for you. Those of you who are open to meeting someone new or just getting to know someone, I do think that it is going to be later in the month with the full moon that is going to speak to you more strongly. The only way that wouldn't be the case is because of your desire for real emotional intimacy early in the month. If you do meet someone, like let's say in the first 3 weeks of the month, you might end up revealing way too much, and it could be that is enough for that person to say, okay, I'm going over there now. I need some space. As I like to say, that person that you're on a first date with, or second or third or fourth or fifth date with, that person is not your therapist, right? And so sometimes, and especially I found when anybody hasn't been in a relationship in a long time, or they're really wanting a relationship, they're wanting that emotional closeness that comes with a relationship, they might try to skip some steps. And so they might try to go there right away rather than, actually go through the process. You can't have a 1-year relationship until you've been with a person for a year. That doesn't mean that you can't have very powerful connections with people that you feel immediately, that people feel familiar, where there are karmic connections that take place. Of course, that's possible as well. But at the same time, there's nothing like actually walking day by day, developing a relationship over a period of time. That aspect of it tends to be something that has to be earned by actually being present for the day and day by day. So with this particular energy, that would be the only thing I would invite you to be mindful of, because it's all about emotional closeness and vulnerability. Where it's appropriate, it'll be great. Where it's not, it will have like, I mean, that person will not likely stick around. Sorry. And the reason I say that is because Pluto is so active. Pluto's meeting the sun. Mercury is dancing with Pluto as well. And so this does suggest, and these meetings can suggest certain endings taking place. And so that's what you want to do. You don't want to come on too strong, because that ultimately is not necessarily going to endear you to this other person. As we move later in the month, the energy gets a lot lighter, a lot more fun, and a lot more open. And this is thanks to a full moon that's happening in a more fun sign, if you will, in the sign of Leo. And for you, this part of the sky has to do with communication and talking. And this particular full moon is speaking in supreme harmony with Saturn. So what this suggests to me is Saturn being in your opposite sign. There's real long-term potential here. I mean, you could just run into the right person at the right time. And the potential is there for this to be something strong and long-lasting. You could be introduced to somebody through your sibling or cousin. Also has the potential to be strong, and there's real potential there for this to be somebody very promising. Now, again, Mercury's retrograde, so things aren't always what they seem when Mercury is retrograde. However, sometimes they can end up way better than what we had expected or planned for ourselves. And if you are someone hoping to meet somebody new, neighbors, very possible, a neighbor coming in, or you looking at a neighbor a little bit differently, or somebody coming to visit a neighbor that catches your eye. All of this becomes possible under this particular full moon that does have a certain stabilizing effect. If you're in an established bond, this is the time to talk it out. Any issues. Now, this isn't like, soul searching, deeper vulnerability issues like we're experiencing early in the month, but rather things that might be a little bit more on the surface, things to share that ultimately do help to bond you to that other person. And also this has to do with just, your everyday running around doing little errands. Striving to do that together actually in its own way does strengthen the bond. What I love about this month for you is that you are learning to express, and that feels just downright comfortable for you. But you're also learning to share, and to share things that you might otherwise not have so much on your sleeve. But when you find that level of acceptance, especially in an established bond with someone who's shown you that they will walk with you, that they will be with you for a period of time, when you find that level of acceptance, it becomes something that only strengthens that bond. And where it is that you are open to new love, you can access one of your greatest talents, which is spontaneity and conversation. That alone, you sharing of yourself in very immediate ways and very on the spot, just happen to be somewhere kind of ways, that alone will help you to attract some truly promising prospects.